Thank you for that wonderful introduction. I'm thrilled to be here and grateful for the opportunity to share power and transformation with all of you. This is our time. For far too long, our experiences as women in midlife, menopause, and beyond have been dismissed, minimized, or misunderstood. But not today. Today is about taking back our health, our energy, our voice, and our power using both science and ancient healing wisdom traditions. So let's begin with a moment of reflection. Picture your future self. Imagine being 79 or beyond. And which version do you want to be? Do you want to be 79-year-old Helen Mirren, who is vibrant and energetic and full of life because she deserves it, and she even has a fan that says deserve it, and we do too? Or the one who feels depleted and disconnected and unseen, or just going through the motions of life, just waiting for it to be over? So let me ask you, if you're choosing energy and joy and radiance, type H in the chat for hell yes, Helen. You get to choose, and it starts now. And I see lots of H's coming in because that's what most of us, if not all of us, want in our lives. So let's do a further check-in. And have you ever felt like your energy is slumping or your body and health seem to be shifting and you just want to feel grounded and you're like yourself again? Many of us do. And I want to check in with how you're feeling right now. Type a word in the chat of how you're feeling right now. Anything at all, whether it's tired, exhausted, anxious, calm, curious, foggy, hopeful, excited, energized, whatever it is, just type one in the chat. And I see it, all sorts of things coming in. So now let's get real. Have you noticed that you've had low energy sometimes, those energy slumps during the day, like from 2 to 4 p.m.? I know that's when mine used to be. Or you're feeling off and anxious or more irritable of things that you weren't irritable about before, or you're losing your patience, or maybe you even feel like you're losing yourself along the journey. And maybe you're wondering, what's happening to me? If so, you are not alone. These feelings often start showing up in our 40s and 50s and beyond, and sometimes in our 30s, and they can take many forms. Yes, they can take physical forms too, like brain fog and mood swings and trouble sleeping and hot flashes and dry skin and vaginal dryness and, oh, we're not supposed to talk about it, but loss of sexual desire, weight gain, that belly fat that we never had before, bloating, pee, urinary leakage, headaches, joint pain, even frozen shoulder, which I had. But deeper than the symptoms is something bigger. We've spent years taking care of others and ignoring our own needs. And somewhere along the way, we forgot how to listen to our bodies. We forgot us. We forgot us. So let me ask you, if any of this hits home, type R in the chat for resonate. And I want you to hear this clearly, and a lot of you are typing R. This does not have to be your destiny. It's not too late, never too late to shift your energy, your health, and your outlook and your mindset, no matter where you are in your journey, no matter what your circumstances are. And that's why today we'll explore 3 ancient but science-backed secrets to shift you from that survival to vitality. And I want to share with you why I feel so passionate about this. Because I've been there myself. I know what it's like to feel depleted and overwhelmed and disconnected from your own body, mind, and soul, because that's how I felt. It started when I was just 12 years old and my mom was diagnosed with terminal ovarian cancer. But nobody told me it was terminal, and I wasn't told the truth. And 12 years old, I suddenly became her full-time caregiver. I was the full-time cook and bottle washer. I cleaned, I cooked, I did everything in the house. I took care of my brothers, my older brothers, and my father, all while navigating school and with raging preteen hormones and trying to fit in. And if you've ever had a teenage daughter, you know what raging teen hormones look like. I was angry and moody and resentful, and even more so because I didn't understand what was going on. And I was downright nasty at times. And when I finally found out that she was terminal and she was dying, oh my goodness, I felt deep, deep shame and guilt, and like I wasn't good enough and worthy enough to be loved. And even though I was 12 and I was doing the best I could in my 12-year-old mind, those feelings stayed with me for decades, the trauma that I carried into midlife. By the way, it's no surprise I became a nurse. I spent years juggling full-time work, raising kids, caregiving for my stepmom, and supporting a partner with addiction issues. I was juggling so many things that I didn't have time to breathe. There was no space for me, no rest, no pause. And eventually I broke down and I like hit a wall, both figuratively, obviously, physically, emotionally, and spiritually. And Western medicine gave me the label of fibromyalgia. And if you've ever had it or know someone who has, it's chronic pain, pain all over like you've never felt, and extreme exhaustion, so much so that many days I couldn't even lift my head off the pillow, although I had to go to work. I had to drag myself out. And there were some days I hurt so bad, couldn't even pick up anything from the floor. My little kids had to help me. And I felt helpless, like I'd never get my health back. So let me ask you again. Have you ever felt so tired that you couldn't get your head off the pillow, just exhausted some days? If yes, type T for tired in the chat. You know, I see that coming in. Yes, it happens to us. Conventional medicine offered me pills and antidepressants, but no real answers, not getting to the root cause. And I didn't want to live life that way. That's when I turned toward Eastern healing and began to discover another way. I learned about energy and gentle movement, not the movement I did in my 20s and 30s, but for 40s, 50s, 60s, and beyond, because it's different then. I help my clients with that. I learned about food as medicine. I learned about emotional release. I began to say no, and I set boundaries. I chose myself. It was not selfish, it was self-preservation. Not all at once, but in small, meaningful steps. And I started to feel better. But in midlife, things got even more intense. At 42, I had my ovaries removed. Healthy ovaries. I'm not going to go into why that happened, but it did. And I went into full-blown menopause overnight. The hot flashes, the night sweats, the brain fog, the sleepless nights, the mood swings, the vaginal dryness. Didn't want to have sex with my partner, the weight gain that I had never had before, and the works. I had no one to help me navigate through these waters. I was taken off hormone therapy about 2 months after I had my ovaries out, because supposedly that's when the studies came out that said that hormone therapy could increase the risks of embolism, cardiovascular disease, heart attacks, strokes. Now that has been revised since then, and there's a lot that can be done that I go into with my clients, but I was taken off cold turkey, and the doctors told me, you're just going to have to tough it out. Oh, well, it'll get better. But I felt awful, and my symptoms were dismissed. So have you ever gone to your healthcare provider and felt dismissed or not listened to or frustrated? If yes, type F for frustrated in the chat. And boy, do I see things coming in, the F's coming in. But that wasn't the end. There was another blow. 2 years after my ovaries were removed, I was diagnosed with severe osteoporosis because I didn't have any estrogen and progesterone. And that helps prevent osteoporosis. I had over 20 fractures, including my spine. Yes, I broke my back. And I thought my life, as I knew it, it's over. But then something again said inside of me, no, there's got to be another way. I'm not going to live this way. And I went deeper. I worked with a coach. I used food as a medicine. I balanced my hormones naturally. I learned energy and breath work practices. I learned the exercises that were so life-saving for me, for women in midlife and beyond. This is so important that I help my clients with. And again, I also released long held emotions and I began to heal. And today I'm almost 69 years young and I have no fibromyalgia meds. I have no osteoporosis meds. I feel stronger and more vibrant and more energized than ever before than I did in my 30s and 40s. And I know this can be for you too. So again, another question, how old would you be or how old would you feel if you didn't know how old you actually were? So I'm going to ask you to first type in the chat your actual age since birth, so your chronological age, and then put a comma for your energy age or how old you feel now. So for me, it would be 69 because that's my chronological age, but I feel 40. So it would be 69, 40. So I see all sorts of things coming in, younger, older, and that's the way it is. And that's why I'm here today, to help you find your way back to yourself, full of energy and vitality for a long, healthy life. Or if you're already feeling younger, to help you stay that way through midlife, menopause, and beyond. So, are you open to learning something your doctor might not have shared with you before, but that could change your life and everything for you? Type O in the chat if you're open. Now, you heard that I'm also an integrative practitioner, and that's because I integrate or combine ancient, time-honored Eastern healing wisdom traditions with Western evidence-based science. That's why I'm integrative. So let's briefly go over what I mean by this. In the West, health is seen as separated, segregated in parts, treating your hormones, treating your heart differently, separately your bones, your mind, as if they're all separate. It's great for emergencies, but when it comes to women's health and midlife and beyond, we're often dismissed, and real guidance, like for me, was missing. In the East, you're seen as a whole, body, mind, and spirit, like a beautiful interconnected garden ecosystem that we are. Emotions matter, energy matters, and everything is connected. And at the center of it all is ki or chi, or you may know it as prana. It's our life force energy that makes us vital and alive and animated and vibrant. When the chi flows, we feel alive and clear and grounded. When it's blocked, we feel depleted and foggy and unwell. So what is I love most about the Eastern and indigenous healing traditions? They talk about aging as saging, that we're not invisible, we're revered, we're not declining, we're becoming even more powerful and wise and fully into ourselves and our female womanhood than ever before. And that's the lens we're stepping into today. And I want you to step into with me today. So let's go on. And what is ancient secret number one? Ancient secret number one is sleep is sacred. So many things influence our energy and vitality and health from both an Eastern and a Western perspective, such as lifestyle, what you're eating, how you're moving. Again, this is different than it was in our 20s and 30s. And it's very important to understand how and what to do that I help my clients with. It's our mindset, you're thinking, what you're feeling. It has a huge effect on your mind and your body. And last but not least is our biology for women, specifically hormones, because they affect all aspects of our body and our mind. We'll discuss all three briefly, but in my Ageless Vitality Blueprint program, we look at them in much greater depth. But I wanted you to get an overview of it today. So let's start with hormones. What hormones am I talking about? For women, it's estrogen, progesterone, and testosterone. In midlife and menopause and beyond, they start to fluctuate and then they start to decrease, which gives us a lot of the symptoms that we have. I can't really go into depth about them today. It's another talk, but I will talk about another hormone that affects all the others. And when that one's out of balance, it hijacks, and I mean hijacks, all the others from working properly. Can you guess what it is? You may be surprised. Keep thinking, but hold on. I'm going to tell you. But first, let's talk about sleep, and sleep is sacred because in relation to hormones, it is the foundation of everything. When your sleep is off, your body just can't heal. So, do you have any difficulty falling asleep, staying asleep, or feeling refreshed when you wake up? If yes, just type S for sleep in the chat. And that was part of my issue too. And I see a lot of people typing S. I was so tired, but still wired at night that I couldn't sleep. And then the hot flashes and the night sweats made it even worse. So your body repairs at night. Quality sleep supports memory, decision-making, increases energy, and promotes hormone balance so that the body can heal in mind, body, and spirit. And because sleep is the foundation of all the rest that we're talking about, let's go into some basics, especially bedtime rituals, many of which you already know. So I'll go into briefly is a wind down period about an hour before you go to sleep. Don't be on that cell phone texting. Don't be working on that computer until you go to sleep because your mind's still going and you can't wind down and go to sleep. Limiting caffeinated coffee intake is very important 8 hours before your bedtime. So if it's at your bedtime's at 11, that means you're done at 3. Ugh, I know, but it really helps. And I love my wine, but I know that it helps put me to sleep, but I wake up. I have restless sleep. So I decrease my alcohol. Environment is another. Quiet, cool, and dark. And herbs like teas like chamomile and lavender and lemon balm, all of which I grow in my backyard. They're so delicious and they're sleep aids. And something you may have not heard about, which is ashwagandha, which helps the body and mind calm and relax from the stress of the day. There's also supplements like melatonin produced in the pineal gland deep in the brain, in the center of the brain, that may help you to sleep. But the store-bought products are not the same as what your glands make. So it may not work for some or as well for some. So now I'm going to reveal the one hormone that affects all the others and that can hijack all the others. And it is, drum roll, please, it is cortisol. I'll be talking about two hormones, melatonin and cortisol. Melatonin helps regulate our sleep-wake cycle and is made, as I said, in the brain and the pineal gland. And the cortisol is our fight and flight hormone that's made in our adrenal glands, which is, you see the kidneys on the right-hand side with those two little pointy caps sitting on them. Those are the little adrenal glands just above the kidneys. Regularly, we have more cortisol made in the morning and less at night so that we can go to sleep. But in midlife and beyond, that often reverses with stress and all the other things and the hormone changes. And the more we have stress, the more our cortisol increases, so that there's less cortisol during the day, which is why we're tired, and more cortisol at night, which is why we're wired at night, but we can't go to sleep. The same thing happens with melatonin. It's a little different. Melatonin, we're supposed to have less during the day so we can stay awake, and more at night so we can go to sleep, but that also reverses. So it's important, very important, to have those nighttime rituals and do stress management and all those other things to bring our cortisol levels back to normal, which is what I go through in my Ageless Vitality Blueprint program. But for today, I want you to have some very practical things that you can do on the spot. From the Eastern perspective, sleep restores our chi and supports the kidney and renal and adrenal functions, or kidney and adrenal functions, for vital energy and hormone balance. It's also the same in Eastern energy medicine. So there's many ways to do this and many different options from both the Western and Eastern perspective that I tailor to my clients. But today, like I said, I'm going to give you some easy to do quickies. So here's a demo. I want you to go like this, like you're shaking your hands, like really loosely, like, wow, she's hot. Not like she's hot flashes, but she's hot and sexy, because you know what, we are. So let it fly, let it be loose. Now I'm going to show you how to do this. The first is we're going to tap in our back right below our rib cage with those hands, and then we're going to swing side to side. So I'm going to show you how I do that, and I invite you to do that with me right now. I'm going to get up so you can see what this is like. So here we go. I'm turning around and I'm going to talk a little bit louder, but take those hands like we were shaking them, and right below the rib cage, right below, you're just tapping and going up and down a little bit to wake up those kidneys and adrenals, and also to release the tension in the back. Do this for, I don't know, about 1 to 2 minutes and see how that feels. So I'm going to ask you right now, if you felt like you woke up a little bit, or you're a little bit more energized, or your back has released, just write B for, you know what? Write K for kidney in the chat. And I see a lot of you do. This is a practice. So, it may not be perfect in the beginning, and that's okay, because it is a practice. But I do show that to you in videos and all of that once you get my Jumpstart tool. So, and in talking about my Jumpstart tool, here it is. So here's the Jumpstart tool. If you want, this is my special gift for you. If you want more energy boosting practices like this, and even simpler, I'm gifting you my Vitality and Energy Jumpstart tool. You can scan it with the QR code right here, and I'm going to give you a chance in the end to do it again. At first, you need to assess where you are right now in your energy levels. So that's the first thing we do, a quick assessment, so you have a baseline and you know where you want to get to. Then I give some quick on-the-spot energy booster practices. So again, scan that QR code. And now we're going to go on to ancient secret number 2. Emotions are energy. Emotions are energy in motion, and our body's way of letting us know to pay attention. They also have vibratory frequency. Depleting emotions have lower frequencies, like I felt shame and guilt and grief and fear. And if not released, like me, they got stuck in my body cells and they caused dis-ease. Like eventually for me, the fibromyalgia. And renewing emotions have higher frequencies. And when allowed to flow through you, they provide calm and vitality and energy and health. Because suppressed emotions don't disappear. They get stored in your body and affect your vitality. So, what emotions do you tend to suppress? Just type it in the chat. Is it anger? Is it fear? Is it guilt? Is it shame? Just type it in. And I see all those coming in: fear, anger, a lot of anger, resentment, guilt, a lot of guilt. Yeah, that's what we do as women. You know, in the West, it pathologizes or suppresses our emotions. So we hear that women are too emotional and men just suck it up and don't be a sissy, right? But remember, in the East, it views emotions as just messengers to let us know to pay attention so that the energy doesn't get stuck. The emotions are not either good or bad. They're just saying, pay attention. And when we suppress those emotions, our energy or chi is blocked and we get illness and trauma and dis-ease. But each emotion is also associated with an organ. Like here you can see anger is associated or affects the liver. And we know that in our language, we say that gets my bile up, or that just galls me. Or if we're fearful, what do little kids do? They pee pee. So fear affects the kidneys. So this is what it does. So let me ask, can you relate to some of these emotions and feeling like in the pit of your stomach, like it's a tightrope or wherever? Just type T in the comments if you sometimes feel this way. So, and I see some of the T's coming in. For my story, it was my suppressed emotions like fear and anger and resentment and shame and guilt and the need to people please all the time to be liked and feel worthy of receiving love. And I think many of us can relate to that. And it went deeper and deeper into my body until my body said, stop. So I needed to release my emotions that were stored in my body to heal the things like the fibromyalgia and the fatigue. I needed to release them safely without re-traumatization and without reliving them or being stuck in my story. And that's what I help my clients do in the Ageless Vitality Blueprint program by combining some of these Eastern techniques with evidence-based Western science. But for now, I want to give you something simple and practical that you can do on the spot. You can use anytime, anywhere. I call them quickies to help harmonize our emotions. So here we go. This is the Worry Fast hand. I'm going to do it with this hand so you can see me. So this is Worry, F-A-S-T. Worry, F-A-S-T. Worry, fear, anger, sadness, and tenseness. So if you're feeling worry, you just hold your finger, your thumb finger for 2 minutes or more if you'd like. You could do it on either hand. It doesn't matter which, or both hands, one after the other. I'm holding it up in the air, but obviously you would put it in your lap or so that no one needs to know that you're doing it, and you can do it anytime and anywhere. You just take a deep or a full breath in through the nose and out through the mouth, and take as many full breaths as you want and go back to your natural breathing rhythm. And then this is not to cover up the emotion of worry. This is just to give it some space to recognize it, allow it to be, and release. You can do the same with the index finger for fear, and then this middle finger for anger. And we all know what the middle finger is in our culture. So, you know, our body knows. And then the ring finger for sadness or grief, and the little finger for tense or stress. You don't have to memorize this just yet, because if you get my Jumpstart tool, you'll also get my Worry Fast hand, and you can do this anytime and anywhere. And I tell you, my clients tell me it really works for on-the-spot release. So now we get to the last one. This is ancient secret number 3. Connection is healing. And spiritual connection, whether to people, nature, source, and most of all to ourselves, recharges our inner battery. I knew I needed to reconnect to myself first. That meant being able to feel and act on the messages in my own body, the messages that my body was giving me, to allow myself to reconnect to my own inner compass and my own inner wisdom, and then to trust that. In fact, in the Eastern healing wisdom traditions, the mind and body are not separate. They inform each other. That's why there's no separation between heart mind. It's called heart mind, because when they're harmonized and act in unison, that's when we're healthy and vibrant and vital, and we have longevity. So here's my last practice for you today. Let's activate the heart and mind with a gratitude practice, which also begins to allow you to feel your body in a different way. You may want to place your hands on your chest, or maybe even both, and notice how your heart and chest are feeling right now. Is it tight? Is it achy? Is it hollow? Is it full? Is it warm? Is it numb? Is it expansive? Or you're not sure what you're feeling, or you're not feeling anything. Just notice without judgment. That's it. No judgment here. This is a practice. Now, take some full breaths in through the nose and out through the mouth. Longer exhale again. Now think of one thing that you're grateful for today. It could be just being here. It could be waking up today. It could be getting out of the bed today. It could be less pain. It could be anything. And just allow yourself to feel that, and allow yourself to feel it inside your body, maybe in that chest area, and see if there's a shift in this heart or chest area. Some of us will feel it. Some of us won't. Again, this is a practice. It takes practice, but this is a beginning practice to feel your body and listen to its messages. If you did feel a shift, type C for chest area in the comments. And I do see some coming in. So now let's just go over what we've learned. We learned sleep is sacred, and how your hormones affect your sleep and affect everything, specifically cortisol, and how it's so important to balance your hormones. You learned that energy or emotions are energy. We need to learn how to recognize, allow, and gently release them so that they don't get stuck in our body and cause disease. And we learned, number 3, connection is healing. It's our spiritual recharge. We did a beginning practice to start to open our hearts, feel our body, and open to the inner wisdom inside us, which is part of source or higher power or the divine or our higher consciousness, whatever you want to call it. You can start to feel better, and feel better through midlife, menopause, and beyond. Actually, better than ever before, with simple practices rooted in ancient wisdom backed by science. So again, I invite you to my special gift of my free Vitality and Energy Jumpstart tool. Inside, you'll get the energy boosting practices. And when you sign up for this, you'll also get the Worry Fast hand technique and some more. So again, I want to say from my heart to yours, thank you for going through this journey with me today.